Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Press Pause with Jouhayna. On today's episode, I have a very special guest for my season finale. Her name is Sara Maklad. She is a very close friend to me, actually my best friend. Don't get jealous, everybody else. And I'm really happy to have her here today, so welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yes, you are a fountain of knowledge and I wanted you to spread this knowledge.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Okay, so you actually helped me construct the podcast as it is. You were the person in the background that helped me come up with the rapid fire rounds, what to include, because I kept adding the same thing over and over, but in different words. So you know exactly what's coming.
Yes.
But for everybody tuning in, this is the first episode you're watching. We start with a rapid fire round. Just let me know the first thing that pops into your head when I say a certain word. And there's a 1 minute sound timer I have here next to me, and that's as long as we'll play for. When it runs out, we're done. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget it's
I'll
going.
keep an eye out for it.
Okay, yes. Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Color.
Black.
Hobby.
Scuba diving.
Month.
December.
Season.
Summer.
Person.
My mother.
Song.
Something by Daniel Caesar.
Love. Board game.
Monopoly.
Guilty pleasure.
Watching random shows on Netflix on hours on end.
Same. Holiday.
New Year's.
Emoji.
I like the crying one. These are the 2 tears.
Okay. Dinner.
Ooh, kushari.
Kushari. Yeah, we had that the other day. Day of the week.
Friday.
Bucket list item.
Starting my own business.
Car.
I don't drive, but I don't know. Pass. This is also
Pass. Oh,
Time
okay.
out.
Time out. At least she's paying attention. Okay. Are you feeling warmed up?
Yes.
Pun intended.
I am. I'm also starting to feel a little sweaty, but I'm ready.
It's okay. Do you want the AC to change?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm ready.
I think you're just sweaty.
It's just the nerves.
It's the nerves? Oh, usually the rapid fire gets rid of the nerves. That's what Daniel said.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm ready.
You ready? All right. So, as you know, this podcast is called Press Pause with Jouhayna. If we were to quite literally press pause on your life today, what would it look like?
I live in Dubai.
Okay.
Originally from the U.S., so new city-ish. Working at a data privacy and cybersecurity firm. Reconnecting with Islam, which also is new. Yeah, pretty much. Just new city, reconnecting with religion, and working in cybersecurity and data privacy.
Okay, so Sara, if we were to take away your titles, how would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as someone who's patient, who
I agree.
who loves to laugh. I laugh all the time, as you can see. And I love to learn, whatever it is. I just like to listen to different podcasts, read different things, just continue learning, because learning doesn't stop in school.
I couldn't agree more. I think learning is very important. Okay, so in your line of work, you're in data and privacy.
Data privacy and cybersecurity.
Okay. Data privacy and cybersecurity. So when I met you, I think a year into our friendship, I still didn't know what you were doing because I didn't pay attention to that. I was just like, she has curly hair and we're friends now because we both have curly hair. So I didn't really pay attention to what you did. And then I realized that you're a director in the firm that you work for, and you must be like one of the youngest people doing that.
I am the youngest director in the company.
Love that for you. Oh, mashallah, that's honestly so wonderful. And you told me that because this is technically your podcast, because you helped me with everything, that you wanted to quiz me on some cyber facts, because now it's been a couple years I've known you, and you've decided that you're going to do a quiz. So I'm ready for you to take over this podcast.
All right, I'm excited. This is one of my passions. I talk about it all the time.
Okay.
You already know that, but I'm going to talk about it on your podcast. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
All right. How many security incidents do you think happen every day?
100.
Any other, maybe more, maybe less? Sticking with 100.
I'm going to stick to 100.
About 2,000 worldwide happen every day.
2,000 a day?
Yes, 2,000 a day.
That's like, how many is that in an hour? Like a lot. That's wild.
It's a lot of hour. And
Yeah.
security incidents don't necessarily mean that they turn into data breaches where you lose data.
Okay.
But it's still an attack on one's either systems or internet connection, whatever it is, it's an attack on that to retrieve confidential or sensitive information.
Oh, wow. Okay, next question. I learned so much.
All right, next question. How long do you think it takes to crack a 7-character password?
Like 7 days, because it's 7 letters.
4 seconds. So
What?
anything that is, yeah,
Cracked.
4 seconds.
Done.
Yeah.
That's 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4.
7 characters.
That's
There's
wild.
tools that can, so password cracking tools, what they do is they try different combinations of passwords for like a few minutes, for a few hours, for even a month until they crack the password. So the weaker your password is, the quicker that it is to crack it, and they can easily get into like whether it's your bank or your email, whatever it is, they can easily get into it. So it's
Okay.
really important to have safe and really long, complex passwords.
Okay.
So for example, you can have something called Sara likes burgers daily, but mixing in numbers and special characters throughout.
Okay.
So it's less easy to crack.
Sara likes burgers daily! Exclamation. Done.
But yeah, the longer and more complex, the safer you are.
Okay.
And also, last thing on passwords, don't use the same password for different accounts, whether it's your banking, whether it's your
Okay.
email, whatever it is, don't use the same password.
There are like so many things I need passwords for. That's a lot of work.
I
That's like
know.
a whole other job.
It is. But just think about how unsecure that is. Because once
Yeah.
I get one password, then that's it. I get
Oh.
access to everything.
That makes a lot of sense.
So a recommendation there is using
Okay.
a password management tool like LastPass or 1Password, but just
Okay.
a word of caution, if hackers get into that, then they
have
know all your
everything.
passwords.
So there's no winning, basically.
Just have a really good memory, I would say, with your passwords, because you never want to write them down.
Okay.
Because again, that can get,
Another way, that's a security breach as well.
yeah.
I learned that from you. All right. Next question.
What do you think is a good password?
Sara likes burgers! Exclamation point.
with no numbers and
Maybe
other
I'll
special
like
characters?
maybe I'll like make Sara the S make a 5, but then that's
Okay.
Hara.
That is true. Yes, an inappropriate word.
Yeah, exactly. Like so. Okay, I guess
You could use a $sign.
I could use a
for the
dollar
outlet
sign.
for the S.
Oh yeah, that's a much better one than Hara. I'm sorry.
It could still be Sara.
Yeah, Sara, but with cash money.
Yes.
Done.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Any
Okay.
more questions?
No more questions.
Okay.
But just a few other things I wanted to talk about to keep
It's your
everyone
podcast.
listening.
It's your podcast. Go for it. So the purpose of this episode today is because you always get a lot of inquiries with the people that do know you about, hey, Sara, is this safe? Can I open this link? Like people just send you links and you're like, do not open that link. So I wanted you to share on this platform so it reaches more people. So the floor is yours. Go crazy.
Thank you. All right, so in that vein, there are
Okay.
a lot of scams going on, whether they're delivery scams. I'm sure everyone here has received a message saying that your delivery is here. Please press this link to pay or like confirm your delivery. When you do that, then hackers get information that they shouldn't have, whether you're entering your payment information or your address, whatever it is, they're getting that personal information from you.
Okay.
And they can use that against you. Because once you accumulate a good amount of personal information, then that means that I can guess your passwords if you're using child names or pet names or your address.
Even if you have
and
3
your
dogs?
passwords. Even if you have 3 dogs. They should not be in your passwords. Other really common scams are within social media.
Okay.
Also, I'm sure folks have experienced this as well, but where you get your social media account hacked and they say, oh, like, I need this I'm in danger or I'm in trouble and I need money, and you're reaching out to people like on your Instagram. They obviously know you, and they wouldn't think twice about giving you money because you're saying that you're in trouble or
Okay.
you're in danger. And that's a really big thing in terms of scams and just security incidences and breaches as well. It's all, shouldn't say all, most of them happen because of social engineering.
Okay.
Social engineering is where you manipulate the person to give you confidential or sensitive information.
Okay.
So they prey on our innate trusting instinct, right? We want to trust people. We don't want to think that they're doing something malicious. So they exploit that to get information from you.
Can you like give an example so if anybody can relate to that, they would be able to identify it better?
Yeah, so I would say if you, for example, you're in your office and someone is like, hey, wait up, like I forgot my badge at home, can you let me in?
Okay.
That's a form of social engineering.
Oh,
so they tailgated you to get in, and maybe they're going into the server room, or they're going to like the HR office to steal information, right? They could be doing anything in the office, so that's just an example. So again, you're not thinking it's a stranger that's entering the office building, it's just someone that forgot their badge.
Oh, wow. Everyone needs to be more cautious with that, because without thinking, you can just do that. I can imagine.
Like, exactly, any office building that could happen. And another scam is around crypto.
Okay.
And crypto is a very hot topic still, but there's a lot of crypto scams. So there's actually people who create, like, really, really good apps that mimic real crypto websites.
Okay.
You really, really cannot tell the difference between them.
Okay.
But they'll get someone to say like, oh, I'm investing, like, and the way that they do it to get your trust is you're not giving them any money, right? They're not saying like, give me money and I'll invest it for you. It's like, hey, I've been using this website and I've been getting so much money from it. Whatever, right? And then you end up downloading that app. There's a lot of fraudulent apps on the App Store or in the Google Play Store. Yeah.
So how can you tell the difference?
It's really hard because you'll have to like really, really pay attention to see like what the differences are. There'll be small things like one letter is off or the logo looks a little bit off. So just paying attention, but also be careful downloading anything, right? Like if you have someone that you don't really know, like sometimes this happens via like social media or on dating apps where people have like romantic connections and it's really a crypto scammer.
Yeah.
So just being really cautious about who you're interacting with. But with these crypto scams, so they'll have the login information for this website. So they'll like mimic that your money is growing. Like for example, if I put $5,000 in, it'll show me that I won or that I gained $100,000, right? So I keep on putting more and more money in.
Okay.
And what happens is when they get a good chunk of money, and this has happened to so many people where they lost $300,000, $400,000, $500,000.
Oh, wow.
Because they thought,
I'm making all this money. Yeah.
One day it's gone. The person one day is gone. And there's nothing that you can do about it.
That is terrifying. I'm throwing my phone. I don't even want to be involved with anything digital.
It's really scary. And it's scary to think like, oh, I can really not trust anybody. And I'm not trying to come off as, don't talk to anybody, don't trust anyone. But just be cautious.
For sure.
And just see like, does it really look like the legit website? And if it's something that you've never heard of, like a crypto that you've never heard of, then maybe most likely it is a scam.
Okay. Wow. Okay, what else? Tell me more.
So in that vein, I'd say with your cell phone, to make sure that you're updating frequently. As you'll see, there's updates maybe once a month or every couple months, and that's usually when they're fixing any bugs or any security threats.
Oh, so we keep updating.
Yes, have to keep updating. So make sure you're on the lookout in your settings to update, and then use as much as you can in terms of multi-factor authentication, which is where you have a password, but you also get like a text, or you use a token, or you have another like authenticator app like Duo or Okta, where you approve it, right? So it's not just my password, because once your password is compromised, that's it. But if you have two multi-factor authentication enabled, then it's less likely that your account will be compromised.
Okay, and I feel like this is good advice for companies as well, because I feel like a day-to-day person just themselves wouldn't do that. So maybe it's good advice for companies.
But also for anybody, right? So like with your
How can you do this as a person though? Like if I needed to
multi-factor authentication.
Yes. If I had to do that, how can I do that for myself to protect myself more as an individual human being?
So most companies do offer this, like whether it's your bank, right? Your bank usually does offer this. There's some like apps like Venmo. I know that that's not here, but Venmo allows you to do that as well because it's connected to your bank. So most companies do offer it. So see if you can have it. And even like Gmail.
Okay.
That also gives you multi-factor authentication.
So to use companies that do have that would be your advice.
Is the ideal, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's doable.
Just to keep secret.
I got really overwhelmed. I'm like, but how am I supposed to do that?
But you should do it for, you should ideally everything, but things that are really important, like your banking, right? You do not want anybody getting into there. So I would say definitely use multi-factor authentication for your banking app. And usually what happens too is scammers, they'll text you or call you and say, hey, this is your bank, like HSBC. We are inquiring about something, or they'll just say, oh, we're inquiring about your last paycheck. Okay. Something like that. And they'll ask you to send them your one-time password.
Okay.
Right, so that defeats the purpose. But just be wary. And most scams, if anything sounds urgent, it's most likely a scam. Because your bank isn't going to call you and say that something's urgent. Your employer is not going to call you and say something's urgent. So just be wary. Because that even happens with employees. They'll get a text or an email from what they think is their boss saying like, oh, I need you to go buy gift cards because we're celebrating this team member, right? And it's really just giving gift cards to the scammer. Okay. So just being wary. And if something feels off, it usually is, and just be careful. Scammers aren't the most like accurate and with their emails or texts. There's usually spelling errors, or you'll notice that there's like one letter off. Whether it's the email address or the website, whatever it is, you'll always notice that there's something off.
Well, this is the tip to the scammers. Get your spelling right.
No, this is not a tip to the scammers. Because, well, honestly, too, with AI, they're getting better and better, which is what's scary. Helpful. Yeah, because they're also able to use AI to impersonate people's voices. So let's say that, like, for example, you have your podcast and you have your YouTube videos, you have, like, audio that they could use, and they can alter or, like, make a script and say, like, call me, for example, and say, oh, I'm in trouble. I need you to, like, go here and give me, or, like, meet me here and give me money, or, like, use this website to give me money.
Something. Yeah.
So also be careful of that.
And then I saw a video that mentioned something like this, and then the advice was, oh, have a code word.
Yes, have a code word.
Is that something that would be viable in the future if it keeps getting better, or?
If it keeps getting better, I don't think so, honestly.
Great.
Because
great.
Scammers and hackers are always 20 steps ahead of what folks like myself are doing. Spell. They can't spell. Well, but a lot of people don't notice. And also
because you're skimming quickly.
Yeah, you're skimming quickly. Yeah. And folks that just that aren't paying attention, whether they're the elderly, are very vulnerable because they're not really paying attention.
Yeah, and they're not as tech savvy as the younger generation.
Right, exactly. But it still happens to the younger generation.
Okay.
They're not like
immune.
Yes, they're not immune at all.
Yeah.
But just being careful. And what they do, these scammers with like the emails or texts or calls, they call hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people a day. So there's one that's gonna, like one fish is gonna bite, right?
Yeah, true.
So that's kind of how their mentality of it is.
Wow, that sounds intense. Okay, now tell me about driverless cars.
So driverless cars are all really exciting. I actually had a client that does that. They work on the technology behind driverless cars.
Okay.
One thing that's really, really important is the security that they have, so that folks can't just hack into your car, right, and change the route that you're driving, or like make the car stop abruptly. Right, it could do anything. So it's very dangerous. But companies are taking this very seriously and making sure that they have the right security controls in place to prevent any hackers from breaking into the company's information or the car's technology.
Okay, and then what about like AI assistants? So like Siri, Alexa, and them.
Yes, I know everyone loves using them because it makes life easier.
Like me included.
But it listens to you. So anything that you're doing in your home, in your car, or on your phone, whatever it is constantly listening to you.
Even though they say they don't?
Yes, because think about it. They have to, like Alexa needs to hear her name to respond, right? If she's not listening, she's not going to respond to you.
True.
Same thing with Siri.
Okay.
With any of them, they have to listen. But yeah, they do say that they only listen for their name and they don't record other things, but you never know what the companies are truly doing. And there's been some cases in the U.S. where they have actually caught a murder from an Alexa transcript.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, someone got murdered. They had an Alexa in the house. Alexa heard everything.
Okay.
And they used that in court and got the person arrested.
All right.
So there's good and bad with it, I guess.
There's good and bad. That's a sad good, I guess.
It is a sad good. Yeah, like someone was brought to justice for doing something so horrible.
Yeah.
But there's really no privacy in your home because these devices are always listening.
True.
And you'll even notice even with your phone, like you'll see an ad about something, right? When you were just talking about like carpet cleaner or whatever you were talking about, you'll see an ad, right? Yep. So it is listening, and I think that's the proof that it is.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm getting maintenance done right now, and I'm getting curtain cleaner, carpet cleaner, maintenance, and it's just because it's happening around me and those words are being said.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not because the universe brought it to your phone, guys.
that is not it. And it's always listening.
Yeah.
I know that certain companies say that they don't, but they do, and data is such a moneymaker. You can buy one record of data for like the minimum of $1. Okay. So if I'm a company trying to get data of customers to bring in more revenue, I can spend like $12 million, right, for 12 million records, so that will be potentially 12 million new customers.
Oh, wow.
Right, okay. So your data is very valuable, which is also why I'm very...
And then why is it so cheap if it's so valuable? Is
because there's so
cheap?
much... Yes, it is
okay,
cheap.
Right.
It's on the cheaper end,
okay.
But it just depends on how much data is in the profile. So there's these companies, they're called data onboarders, where they aggregate data from different companies. So like, for example, they'll take data from Visa, and they'll take data from McDonald's, and they'll combine it into one profile to show you, like, Jouhayna goes to McDonald's on Tuesdays at 3 p.m.
For my ice cream run.
Yeah. But it'll have, like, your credit card transaction and your transaction with McDonald's. So then, for example, that company can then sell your data to Burger King.
Okay.
Right? And then Burger King can then say, like, I'm going to send an ad to Jouhayna at 3 p.m. on Mondays because I know that's when she goes to McDonald's.
Oh, wow.
So that's something that they do. It's crazy that all they think about is how can we get more data from folks is really the end game.
I told you she's a fountain of knowledge. I told you. Oh, wow. Okay. Do you feel like since you've moved to Dubai, are there certain frauds that you've noticed regionally that you can warn people about so they have a heads up?
Me personally, I've only really noticed the delivery scams that they say that they're from Emirates Post when they're not.
But they're not. Yeah. But I've experienced that as well.
They haven't really been good at that scam. It's from an iCloud account. So from that alone, like, you know that's a scam.
Not. Yeah.
I've heard like that there are scams on like the CID impersonators that are saying like you're sounding urgent for you to do something at their will. Okay. And then, for example, for the Emirates Post ones, so we could look out for the email address, or maybe look out for like Emirates Post, they send like WhatsApps and it has a green symbol next to it. Yes. And then that's how I would know that's actually Emirates Post. And also, if you aren't expecting a package, just like thinking about that, like, and you know that no one was sending you anything, or you can even check with your family and friends. Okay. But most likely, it's a scam. And if they all say, no, I didn't send you anything, then you know it's a scam. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so but what if they're trying to surprise you for your birthday or something? And then they're like, actually, we didn't send you anything. Well, I would ask them, I got this text that says this. Okay, so include the message in the question. Because then they should tell you. Okay. Like, oh, we didn't send anything. All right. That's a scam. We're like, we didn't use Emirates Post, we used Aramex. Yes, exactly. Duh. Okay, all right. Okay. And then what other tips would you like to share? Because again, you have so much knowledge, and I've very slowly grasped little bits, and I just want everyone to learn what I've learned through knowing you. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Of course, just being honest. I'd say the last piece of advice is know your data privacy rights. Okay. So most countries, I want to say almost 50 to 60 countries around the world have data privacy rights. Here in the UAE, there's 3 different ones. Okay. Where you can request access to your data from the company, and you can ask them to delete your data. Oh. So they have to comply with these laws legally. So knowing your rights. If you, for example, don't want Meta, like Facebook, having your data, you have the right to ask them to delete your data. Oh, okay.
And then what, do you just send them an email?
So usually companies like a Meta, which includes Instagram and WhatsApp, right? They have a link on their privacy policy. I know no one really reads.
Nobody reads it,
privacy
but if
policies.
you're looking for it, you can find it.
They usually have a link to that. And that's what we encourage all of our clients, and that's what I do to help my clients, is usually have a link in the privacy policy.
Okay.
So, and it also lists out your rights by region or by country.
Okay. Wow. That was a lot of information. This makes me want to run away, be on an island alone with my dogs, and then make sure you're on the next island so I can like just see you.
I know.
And throw my phone and use only cash, and you know, that's it. That's what it makes me want to do.
It's really scary.
It is.
There's actually one last thing, a new technology with Microsoft that they just released, where if you give them an image, they can make an AI video of you. So if I give them an image of you, then I can make it say whatever I want it to say.
Okay.
Which is really scary.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not even just like the voice calls.
Is this called like a deep fake? Is that
it's a deep fake.
See, I'm learning. Who am I?
So Microsoft, at least for now, said that they won't release it to the public.
Okay.
But eventually it probably will. And also if you're selling it to companies, what are companies doing with this is my question. Like what are they gaining from this? Unless they're trying to like save on marketing and save on commercials.
I was thinking about like ads maybe. So instead of hiring a model and making them read their lines, they could just...
Yeah, that's true. But being in the privacy and security space for so long, really this technology doesn't do us good.
Wow. Intense. So I wanted you to share this with whoever's listening, because I want this podcast to be educational, and you're somebody who's so career focused, and I was like, I'm just going to make you talk about what you love. And that's how we'll break the ice, because you mentioned you had some nerves earlier.
Yes, I did.
Are they gone now?
They are gone.
You're welcome.
Talking about security just made me happy.
Talking about security and scaring me?
Yes.
got you comfortable. Oh man. Okay.
Just raising awareness.
Exactly. We are raising awareness, and that's the whole point of this podcast, you know, to learn from people's stories, journeys, experiences, and expertise. Yep. So you're the first person actually who I've brought on, and then I was like, you know, when I invited you on here, you're like, oh, I'll interview you. And then when I spoke to the creative team, they were like, but you did your microbiography, so we should learn about her. I was like, you are right. Sara, can I please interview you instead? So thank you for agreeing.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's my honor. This is your podcast, Aslan, because you helped me with so much behind the scenes. And, you know, for anyone listening, this is the importance of having the right people around you, because, you know, we act as sounding boards to one another with things going on at work, personal life, my crisis with the dogs. You know, you're the first person I'd call, like, outside of like blood family, even though mom has adopted you. She nominated me to platinum child, and she said you're a golden child now. So I'm so sorry to my two younger sisters, because you showed up. No. But yeah, no, mom really does love you. We adopted you.
Yes.
So
and I'm so happy to be part of this family.
Yeah, well, you're stuck with us.
Yes.
We're just pure chaos, like.
But it's entertaining.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's entertaining when you've been adopted inwards. Yes. But like for me, with all the historical trauma of the nonsense we've gone through, yeah, it's really intense. Okay, so now that we spoke about present day, you've all had your cyber awareness module of the podcast. Let's hit the metaphorical rewind button on your life. If we were to hit rewind, what's the first memory that pops into your head?
The first memory, I would say, is of me and my mom dancing to some Arabic music while we're cleaning the house.
This is why you love to clean.
Yes, this is why I love cleaning. She made it fun. What we used to do was on Saturdays, we used to clean the house together while like my brothers were out playing or doing whatever, and my dad also used to work on the weekends, so he wasn't home. So it was just a way to bond. And yes, you know that I'm a clean freak and I love to clean. Yeah, like the
other day I came over, I think it was like a few months ago, and there were things displaced in your house, and you're like, I'm having anxiety about this, whatever, and you're like, but I want to spend time with you, let's sit on the couch. I'm like, Sara, do you want to clean? And I think you are so happy. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm bringing all the you brought all the sprays out and the wipes. You're like, what would you like?
I know, that was the best time, and I felt
we had a really good time.
Nice after.
Yeah, afterwards when we sat down, we both were like, let's get some karak.
Yes. was the best.
Yeah, it was a great cleaning session.
Yes.
Slash hangout. We're gonna go put like all these cleaning companies out of service because we actually enjoy to clean. So yeah, and you know, you mentioned your mom. So we adopted you, and my mom actually designed the abaya that you're wearing now.
Yes,
she loves to do
it's
that.
so beautiful.
But she loves to do it only with like certain people. So unless my mom likes you, you're not getting one. But yeah, you when you walked in today, you were like, oh, I'm wearing this one because it's a design your mom made. But by coincidence, it's something also that your mom would have worn.
Yes.
Full circle moment.
Yes.
I got emotional. I was
It's
like,
so beautiful.
suck the tears.
Yeah, my mom used to wear these kinds of abayas, like with the detail. I know
Okay.
your mom says that it's like the old lady style, but I guess that's where I get it from. But yeah, it just reminds me of her, and also just like the mauve colors.
Oh yeah, and mom didn't even know that. She just followed her heart and picked colors, and yeah, that's beautiful. And you know, what was it like for you to come to Dubai? Because I know that, you know, you've lived in the U.S., and when I met your siblings, they told me that you don't commit to one city for a long time. So tell me about your journey of how you move from city to city, how you adapt, and you know, you're a single woman on your own doing these things. Weren't you scared?
No, I wasn't.
You're so brave. I love it.
Thanks. I don't know what it is. I've just always wanted to do my own thing.
Okay.
So since I graduated university, I moved to New York with some friends.
Okay.
And loved it there. I was there for 6-7 years. Just loved it. And then wanted to move somewhere warmer, so I moved to LA.
Okay.
Was there for about 3 years. Also, like, went by myself. It was hard. It felt sometimes it felt like I was just in an island by myself.
Okay.
But learned just to adapt, and I did go home to Connecticut and New York quite a bit.
All right, so Connecticut would have been home where you grew up.
Yes, Connecticut is where I was born and raised.
I know this, but I pretend I don't for you guys.
And my brother still lives there.
Okay.
He's the only one. Everyone else has kind of dispersed.
Okay.
And then from LA, I came to Dubai for 1 week, and by myself. Loved it.
Surprise.
I also do just like doing solo trips. So came to Dubai by myself. Actually did a job interview the week that I was here, which was kind of like unexpected, with a cybersecurity firm. I just fell in love. I loved it. And then after that, I went to Egypt, where my dad lives, and where I'm ethnically from. And I just told him, I think I want to move there. Will you move there with me? But but yeah, I just did it, and I found out that there's a remote work visa here.
Okay.
So I was able to still keep my job in the U.S. Since I was already remote. So yeah, it was great, and honestly, haven't looked back on that decision. I love it here.
Yeah.
Reconnected with Islam, so it is nice to be in a Muslim country.
Yeah, because your mom was quite religious.
Yes. Yeah, she was.
Okay.
So it is nice to reconnect with her in that way as well, since she's passed away.
Yeah. It just makes me, because mom adopted you, so it just makes me sad, like, we know whenever we speak about your mom and stuff like that. So yeah, and then how's it going living in Dubai? Like, how have you been able to adapt? Like, you've lived in so many different cities, but how's it been so far? Like, do you see yourself living here in the long term? Quizzing you now. Are you gonna leave?
No, I'm not. No, I really do see myself here long term.
Okay.
I just feel so comfortable here. I still obviously think like the States is home, and it always will be.
Yeah.
But just having that like opportunity to go back home when I do start to feel homesick, and working in the U.S. too makes me still like feel that connection there.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely love Dubai. I love how diverse it is. I always used to think that New York was like the melting pot of the world until I came here, where I met people that I've never met from different countries. Like, I know that this is not like a small country, but Uganda, I've never met anyone from there before.
Okay.
Just other countries that I've never met anyone before, and I always thought New York, everyone was there.
Meet everyone, yeah.
But it is not the same.
Okay.
It's far more diverse here.
Oh, wow. And then what's it been like for you to reconnect with Islam? Because when we both met each other, like, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now, we met and we both weren't very religious, and then we both kind of gone into the journey, but you went into the journey of Islam a lot earlier. Was it because of our mutual friend who started it, and then she took you to Islamic class?
Yes.
Lucinda, we love you.
Yes. Hi, Lucy. Yeah, it was because of her. She started to go to this Islamic center where she converted.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would go with her, but I never went by myself. I always went with her.
Oh, yeah.
And I never, like, lingered. I'd only, like, go for the lecture, go out. Like, never, like, spoke to any of the women there. And then I'd say this past October, I felt this urge, or just felt something in me to go by myself without Lucy.
Was this after she came back from, because she worked, okay. All right.
Yeah, it was after. It was after she was back in Dubai again.
Okay. Because Lucy traveled for a bit, but
yes.
we won't share much more of her life on this until I bring her on.
Yes. Yeah, so I just felt this urge to go. So I went, and it was the first time that I actually stayed and, like, spoke to the women there.
Okay.
And they were so friendly, like, so friendly, so kind. And I just felt just, like, this welcoming feeling there. So I kept on going.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, I started to pray, which I didn't really pray before.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a shift. And it felt so natural, and it just felt like there was something inside me telling me, like, to go to Islamic class, to pray. And I've been feeling so at peace. My anxiety has gone down. I've always dealt with that. It's just...
And it's a way for you to feel closer to your mom again.
Yeah.
So, alhamdulillah. That's beautiful. And we even spoke about this, like, growing up when we were in... Unfortunately, Islam is such a beautiful religion, but then the groups that we were, like, sent to study, like the Islamic schools on, like, during the weekend and things like that, it just felt like the energy in the room was, like, just a lot of catty energy, and, like, the girls weren't really that nice. And, that's what put me off praying when I was younger, is that, I would pray, and then I'd be told, oh, you didn't do that right, or something like that. And, we bonded over this. And then the center that you go to now, everyone is so nice. You meet so many different nationalities, mixes, ages, and, everybody's just on their own path and doing it collectively together and just raising one another up, which is just so beautiful and so refreshing. And that's what it should be.
Yes, exactly. That is what Islam is. And I agree. I think what I've come to learn was the things that I thought I disliked about Islam were culture. It was the cultural things.
The cultural issues,
Yes.
not the religion itself.
Yes.
And I feel like that's always misconstrued. So do your research, people, because it's what happens culturally versus with the religion are two different things, and it's a touchy topic, so we'll move past it because there's so much more to you as well. And you honestly inspired me a lot to go on my own path. Like, I was doing my own thing. Like, you and Andy were both, like, praying. Andy's my husband, for whoever's tuning in and doesn't know this, and his Islamic name is Khalid. He actually converted in the same Islamic school that you go to.
Yeah.
So they were comfortable with, like, letting him in and letting him convert, because it's a home for everybody to do that. And he was exploring Islam a lot more after we got married, because he had to convert to Islam, and he made the choice to take it seriously and not just do it for the sake of paperwork. And he met my grandmother, who was so religious, and he's like, even though you're not religious doesn't mean it's not a part of you, and I want to learn that side of you. And I was like, that's so romantic.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, I was like, that's, he's cute sometimes. And then you started your journey as well. So Andy was on it for, like, a couple of years, and then you went on it, and then both of you are like, okay, we're gonna go pray, and, like, each of you go into, like, the different prayer rooms, and then I'm like, all right, I'll just wait for you guys. And then I was like, okay, maybe I should start as well. So it was like a beautiful kind of peer pressure, but also both of you never pushed me, which is what I asked both of you not to do, and you respected that, and I really appreciated it. So one day I just texted you, and I turned to Andy, and I was like, I'm gonna start praying every day now. And he's never met me to, like, he knows me so well, but he has never seen me make a commitment to something other. Like, when I decided to commit to him, he saw that I followed through with that, but he doesn't realize that if I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna execute the whole way. So I went from not praying every day to praying 5 times a day.
Mashallah,
Ramadan came along. I fasted every single day of that. I did the 6 days of Shawwal, like, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
so it was, I'm a very extreme person. So I'm just like, I'm going to do it. And then I execute. It's not even extreme. It's just making a promise to myself and believing that I should follow through for myself and show up for myself. And it's been really such a beautiful journey. Like, you know, you go to Islamic class and you're like, Jouhayna, I learned this every day. And I'm like, that is awesome. Like, you know, you read all of these self-help books. Like, for example, it's like, most of them are like, wake up at 5 a.m. and your day will be better. That's Fajr.
Yep.
Duh. Wake up in the morning and get your day started early. Meditate.
Yeah,
That's praying.
Yeah.
That is dhikr. Dhikr, for people who don't know, it's when you have the prayer beads, or you can use your fingers and you can just say the different names of Allah, and it's a way for you to just be present in the moment, which, you know,
is meditating. Yeah,
which is meditating,
yeah.
which is mindfulness. And it has brought me a lot of ease. You know, I have such a stressful job. Air traffic control is one of the most stressful jobs in the world. And on break, you see me in the ladies' lounge. I'm praying, I'm doing my dhikr, I'm just trying to recalibrate so that I can go back in and show up better. And it's really helped me even become a better controller, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just been such a beautiful journey. And, you know, for you, you were like, oh, am I being too forceful or whatever? Like, you know, and I was like, I'm on my own path, but you inspired me and you embraced it in such a beautiful way where you're not enforcing it on anyone.
Because it's not how it should be. And even in Islam, you can't force someone to practice, or you can't force them to convert. Exactly. It has to be from them.
It has to. And that's the fact of life with everything in life.
Yes.
You know, centuries ago, this was all brought down. And to this day is when we're like now realizing it outside of that. And then when you go back to it, it's like, hey, but we had all of this written down centuries ago. So subhanallah. And alhamdulillah.
That is very true. I think as we learn more, we see the things that, like, outside of Islam were trying to teach us.
Exactly.
That were in Islam all along.
That's it. That's what I was trying to say, and I was struggling. So thank you. Oh, alhamdulillah. How did you go from accounting to being a director in a cybersecurity firm? Like, how?
So after university, I was working at one of the big 4 companies in the audit space.
What's that?
There's the 4 biggest companies in the world.
Okay.
It's PwC, which is where I was, KPMG, Ernst & Young, and Deloitte. Those are the big. Those are the big players.
All right.
And I thought that's where I wanted to be, like, for the rest of my life. I wanted to make a partner there. I was going to stay there forever. And then I learned how many hours we had to work. We were working 80 to 100-hour work weeks. It was
a week.
It was insane.
That's intense.
Never slept. Never slept well. We would work basically 7 days a week. Had no life. I was like, maybe this isn't what I want to do. So one of my college friends, he was working at a boutique consulting firm that was doing the same thing, like in audit. So he actually referred me, and I started to work there. And then it was so small, since it was like boutique. They also had a data privacy and cybersecurity division outside of audit. So I was on this client. It was one of, like, the bigger clients that we had that also needed cybersecurity and data privacy assistance. And since I was on that client, I think, because I was on that client before, like on my first job and my second job, I think I was there for like 3 or 4 years. So I knew the client really, really well. So they asked me to be on the project. And then that was it. I was like, this is so much more fun than audit. No offense to the auditors out there. And that was it. They told me that I needed to take a couple of certifications and take, like, these online classes to get my knowledge up, and then I did, and that was it. And then that was the job before this, and then this current job, as you mentioned and as I'll mention, I'm very career focused, just very determined.
So that's why you've become a director so young.
Yes.
Like, the other day we went to the spa and this lady asked me if you were my daughter.
And I'm older than you.
Yeah. I need to put on more eye cream. So yeah, but you are, mashallah, you've achieved so much. You're so young, and even in person you look more youthful because the camera adds years or something. I don't know. So Sara, if we were to press the metaphorical fast forward button, what would you visualize for your life, other than staying in Dubai forever because you can't leave now?
Exactly. This is my forever home. I would say still doing something in cybersecurity and data privacy, as you know, I'm very passionate about it. Whether it's starting a business or something, that would be the ideal. Ideally, a business would be nice. And being more grounded. Like, as my sibling said, I do have a hard time committing. So to commit to a place would be great, like even like buying a home, which is scary to me because it feels so permanent, but just being more grounded, and learning more and more about Islam.
Inshallah, it all works out. And yeah, and you know, in the last episode I had with Eliza, she's like, there was some question that came up. I'm like, everything's written anyway, so whatever. So
no, that is true.
Yeah.
It's all as in the Quran, Allah is the best of planners, and I am trying to kind of submit to that, and that also it eases my anxiety. It's knowing that
definitely
there's something bigger than me that is planning things in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, we love Daniel. So if you haven't watched that episode, go watch it because she's great. But she said, she's like, help yourself so that God can help you.
Yes. That is so true.
She needs to make that a t-shirt. Like, 100%. So yeah, but Sara, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for doing, you know, this educational cyber awareness segment that you did earlier. You quizzed me. I failed every question. I just knew Sara likes burgers, ! Is the correct answer. But yeah, so thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for coming on the show. I know it's your first time doing a podcast. You're doing great so far.
Thank you.
And yeah, and thank you for supporting me. Even in the background, you helped me decide on the logo because I had a different idea for the logo. You're like, no, Joe, the first one you made is the correct one to use. So thanks to Sara for consulting with the logo.
This is all you, though. You're the one with the, mashallah, such a creative mind.
Thank you. Yeah, even when I got the Jenga idea, I texted you and you're like, that actually sounds really good. I'm like, we'll execute it. I ordered like 3 Jenga sets and everything. So, but you did help a lot in the background because you were my sounding board. You were somebody I threw ideas at and you would give me such an honest response in the most constructive way. So thank you for just being a part of it. And you know, even the team, you are the one who, if you didn't forward me that Instagram story that day, Sara loves to do a good staycation.
Yes.
So and she loves a good hotel with a great view. And you're like, Joe, look at that view. And you sent me their shoot, but the purpose was for me to see the view.
Yes.
So if you didn't send me that, and I didn't see this company being tagged there, which is Clicker, thank you guys for doing everything you do, I wouldn't have known to hire them because I reached a point with the podcast. I came up with the idea, everything. And when it came to finding people to execute it, doing the videos and the editing, everyone I reached out to, it just wasn't meshing correctly. And then I even texted you and I was like, Sara, I'm going to give up on this idea. It's overwhelming me. I have enough on my plate. No more podcast. Truly, no more podcast. And then you sent me that story and you're like, when are we going to go to this hotel? And I was like, I've just texted them to see if they can do the podcast. And you're like, I thought that was over. I'm like, one last time, one last place, one last company. And then, yeah, so thank you for being obsessed with beautiful views.
Of course.
And thankfully the Instagram story didn't expire because sometimes I don't check.
That is true. Yeah, subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
It was all meant to work out, and I will always and forever be your number one cheerleader.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everybody that's tuned into this episode. Press Pause family, I would really appreciate it if you just hit the follow or subscribe button, depending on which platform you're tuning into. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the Burj Banter episode coming up next week.